What's up, people? Andrew Gosling back again, and welcome to Darwin's Hidden Valley Raceway. What's up, people? Andrew Gosling back again, still in Darwin. Just finished round 4 of Australian Superbike Championship. I had great plans this weekend to do lots of filming, put together a whole bunch of content. Yes, unfortunately that didn't happen, but I thought just before I get a few hours sleep before I get on a plane at 7 o'clock in the morning to head back to Adelaide and then to head home, that I'd do a really quick little recap of the weekend. First thing, this weekend was nowhere near as hot or as brutal as last year. The humidity at least seemed a lot better. Today was fairly warm, easily the warmest day of the weekend, and it was a tough weekend, but nowhere near as bad as last year. And I'm also pleased to say that thanks to wearing long pants and some really cool insect repellent supplied by a local friend, I have not been eaten alive by sandflies and midges as I was last year. So I'm quite happy with that. I've got a couple of bites, but it's manageable. No discomfort this year. Anyway, round 4 of Australian Superbikes. I'll start from 300s, move up to Superbikes, and just give a really quick recap on each of the classes, how I see, how the weekend went, who had good weekends, who didn't have such good weekends, and we'll go from there. 300 class, what can you say? 300 class, I think the top 10 in the 300s in the last race were covered by like a second. It is without doubt the most competitive class in Australia. It is where we are going to get the next generation of riders, both for Australia and those who will travel overseas. I know there's a bunch of people who say that losing the Moto3 class was just the end of Australian development of overseas and international riders. That people are going to dislike me saying this, but I think that's rubbish. I think the 300 class teaches people to race and race close. When you watch the Supersport 300 race and you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 riders in a pack that's that close, that's what you need to learn to race. You can teach people to adjust suspension and deal with all the electronics and all those sort of things, and unless they bring back 300 Moto3 as a control class, 300s is the way to go. And you look at the riders that are in there, Bayliss, Crump, Bramich, Levy, these guys, have the potential they will go on to race 600s, Superbikes in Australia, or if they choose, some of them can go overseas, as some have from last year. So I think 300 class is a great development class for the future of Australian racing, both here and overseas. Looking at this weekend's race, Seth Crump has just stepped up. He hasn't been racing that long, and he's now won 2 races. He won 2 races today, and he's proven that he's got amazing potential. Looking at the 300 class, you had 3 riders out there today who have great racing heritage, I guess you could say. Crump, Bayliss and Max Stauffer. And again, little Maxi, he came ninth in the final round after, you know, after what happened to Jamie. Jamie getting injured in the Superbike race, he went out and he still came ninth. He is really stepping up. He's getting there. It was just it was great racing. There's not really that much you could say. Who's going to win the championship? I don't really know. There's so close that any of them could go. But I was really impressed with the way Seth rode today or over the weekend. He was comfortable and competent and confident all weekend, and it showed. Having a look at the Super Sport 600. Well, what can you say? I mean, Crew Halliday, he won again, and so he should. He's basically on a factory bike. He's got the best support. He's got the most experience, and he's doing what he has to do. So, barring anything unforeseen, he will go on to win the championship. The ones that are really impressing me in this class, other than Crew, is Max Croker. I think Max, again, he stepped up this weekend. He's been solid. He's been there and thereabouts all year basically, but this weekend he stepped up, and while he didn't win a race, he certainly proved that with a bike that's much older technology than the R6, and with nowhere near the backing, he's certainly right in there. And Tom Tabaris, he's just what can you say? He's there. It's just the only thing that's really letting him down now is the fact that they don't have the bike that's going to be competitive with the Yamaha. There's not really that much more you can say about the 600s, unfortunately. It's pretty much it's a one-man show, but there are three at the front at the moment. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. Superbikes. Well, what can you say? I should stop saying what can you say. But anyway, what can you say? Troy Bayliss comes back. There's so many question marks from so many people. Was it a good move? Myself, I was in two minds. It's like the fan in me wanted to see him back because he was such a good racer, but the realist in me said, man, he's 49 years old, and does he have it in him? Can he compete with these guys? Well, this weekend he proved that he certainly can. He went out, he won a race, and he came, I think, 6th in the second race, something like that, 5th, 6th, somewhere in there. As his, I think, tyres went off or whatever, not really sure. But he proved that he's quite capable of winning. He's got the fire to win. He seemed so much happier this weekend, just more relaxed, much more comfortable on the bike. He looked at one with the bike this time. I know through the year he said he's felt comfortable on the bike, but to me, watching him, it just didn't seem to be quite there this time. From the moment he rolled out on Thursday afternoon in some practice, he just was clicking with the bike. Outside of that, Troy Herfoss won the weekend, and he and that Honda are working so well, just solidly consistent and fast. At this point in time, I can't see anybody beating them to the championship, to be honest. I think he's the only rider in the Penrite Honda team, and they can focus all their attention on him, and he's doing what he has to do. The Yamahas, they struggled a little again, but they always seem to do that in Darwin. It wasn't a great round for them last year, and it was an all right round for them this year, but it wasn't great. Probably the one struggling the most up here, that certainly would have expected to do much better because he loves the place, is Josh Waters. The Suzuki just isn't quite there at the moment. I think the other manufacturers, Ducati in particular this round, but Honda, they've stepped their game up, and for whatever reason, the Suzuki's it's not in it had a buffer last year. This year it doesn't have that buffer, and so it's proving a lot harder this year. I certainly think that with the guys in that team and with Josh riding, they will get it sorted, and they'll be back competitive and back winning races before the end of the year. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case this weekend. Outside of that, seeing Glenn Scott was back was really good. He's had a torrid time over the last few years with injury and while racing overseas, but he was back really solid. He's with the injuries that he's had and just getting back into the game. The championship now, as compared to when he raced here last, is like night and day. It was basically a dying championship when he was racing. There were a handful of really good riders, and he was right up there in amongst them. And I certainly think he can be again. But yeah, really good to see him back. Well, that was Darwin. We've now got, I think it's about 6 weeks until we head off to Morgan Park. I suspect the weather there will be somewhat cooler than it was here, especially in the mornings. It tends to be very cold at Morgan Park in the mornings, but it'll be nice to get back there. It's a track I like. Not everyone likes it, but it's much better than, say, Queensland Raceway. I'm glad we don't go there at the moment, but yeah, it'd be good to get back into it. We've got a bit of a break now, so hopefully I will make some more content and do a few more videos around photography as opposed to racing. But that's my take on the weekend. Hope you found it of some interest, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye.